Dear students, welcome to the next lecture of electrical measurement. So, in the last lecture, we discussed about the measurement of resistance. Okay. In fact, we started the topic of the bridges which are used for the measurement of different components like resistance, inductance, capacitance. Okay. And the very first of all, we talked about the Wheatstone bridge, that is the common arrangement for finding the medium ranges of resistance. Okay, so we had seen that how to find the resistance using a Wheatstone bridge, and we also talked about the limitations of Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so one of the limitation which we talked about was the measurement of low resistance. Okay, so we discussed that this Wheatstone bridge cannot measure low resistances. Okay, and by low resistances we mean that the resistances of the order of 1 ohm or maybe less than that. Okay, so this is the problem which we focus on, that is in this lecture we will talk about the measurement of low resistance specifically. Okay, so one of the arrangement for finding the low resistance values is the Kelvin's bridge arrangement. Okay, this is called Kelvin's bridge. Okay, so before starting the actual Kelvin bridge arrangement or actual method, let us just draw that Wheatstone bridge arrangement again, or a modified form you can say of Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so let's suppose these are 4 arms. Okay, this is the galvanometer, or let me just represent this with a different color. Let us take the black color for it, this portion. Okay, okay, so this point we can call point A, this point B, and this point we can call as point C. Okay, so this is the point where from this black part is starting, this is point A up to this point C. Okay, and there is one intermediate point as well, point B. Now let us connect a battery to it. Okay, this is R1, this is R2, this is R3, this is R4, this is galvanometer. Okay, now this part which I have drawn in black, this represents a resistance which I have denoted by this Ry, and it is the resistance pertaining to the contact and lead. Okay, so the problem which was discussed yesterday in the measurement of low resistance by using the Wheatstone bridge was that uh, the the bridge contact and the lead resistance, basically that introduces the error in the measurement of low resistance by using the Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so let us suppose that this is that contact resistance R y here. Okay, so this is just a modified form of Wheatstone bridge, okay, which I have drawn. We will actually use this circuit to understand that how we can measure the low resistance by using the Kelvin's bridge without having the, you can say, introduction of this contact resistance. Okay, so all the resistance are already known to you, this R1, R2, R3 and 4. This is the normal bridge, the arms resistance which are usually present in the bridge form. This Ry, you can just write down here, this Ry it represents the resistance of the connecting leads. From this R3 to Rx. Okay, so this you can call as Rx. This is the unknown resistance. Okay, now what you can see from this circuit is that this galvanometer actually, that is this galvanometer which is connected in the circuit, it can be connected either to this point A or to this point C. Okay, that is why I have shown this with the dashed lines. Okay, so what you can see from here, that if it is connected to, let's suppose first of all, to this point A. Okay, so what will happen if this is galvanometer, if connected to this point A, then this resistance Ry, which is the contact resistance, it will be added to this unknown resistance. Okay, so in that case the measured value of this unknown resistance will be higher than the actual value. Okay, and that will introduce some error. Whereas in the second case, if you connect the unknown or this point to this point C, so, okay, so if you connect the galvanometer to this point C, then this contact resistance Ry will be added to this resistance R3, and that will mean that the unknown measured value will be less than the actual, and that again will introduce the error in your measurement. Okay, so these are the two extreme situations. Now if we are somehow able to find an intermediate point B, okay, which is shown here. So let's suppose if the galvanometer is connected to this point B in between these 2 points A and C, in such a way that the ratio of the resistance from C to B and that from A to B equals the ratio of resistance R1 and R2. Okay, so what did I just tell, that if the ratio of the resistance, that is this RCB over RAB, is equal to R1 and R2. So we will just start our analysis just by this step. Okay, so let us assume that the galvanometer is being connected to this intermediate point in such a way that the ratio of this on this part RCB and RAB is equal to the ratio of R1 and R2. Okay, now let us proceed. Now you know the balance equations for the bridge. Okay, so this Rx plus RCB then will be equal to R1 over R2 into R3 plus RAB. Okay, so this is the normal bridge equation which we had also seen in previous lecture. Okay, the only change is here is that these resistances are being added. Okay, this RCB here and RAB here. So if you just remove these resistances, this will become Rx equals to R1 by R2 into R3. That is the same equation as we had seen in the previous lecture. Okay, so but we know that RAB plus RCB, this is equal to Ry, that is the total, you can say, contact resistance, and we have also assumed that this ratio is equal to R1 and R2. So these two things we know already. Now if you add 1 to both sides of this equation, what you will get? This RCB over RAB plus 1 equals to R1 plus R2 plus 1. That will be RCB plus RAB over RAB equals to R1 plus R2 over R2. So this means you will get Ry over RAB is equal to R1 plus R2 over R2, and therefore we will get RAB equal to R2 Ry over R1 plus R2. Okay, and since this RAB plus RCB equals to Ry, so in place of this RAB you can just write Ry minus RCB. So if you just put that here, you will get RCB equal to Ry minus RAB is equal to Ry minus R2 Ry over R1 plus R2. So this resistance, that is RCB, will be equal to R1 Ry plus R2 Ry minus R2 Ry over R1 plus R2. So this will get cancelled, and finally you will be able to get RCB equals to R1 Ry over R1 plus R2. Okay, so now this value which you have obtained, that is RAB and RCB, if you put these resistances in this equation 1, let us call this as equation 1. Okay, so substituting the values of this RAB and RCB in this equation, what we will get, let's see. So substituting RAB and RCB in equation 1, we will get Rx plus R1 Ry over R1 plus R2 is equal to R1 over R2 in bracket R3 plus R2 Ry over R1 plus R2. If you simplify this, what you will get, Rx plus R1 Ry plus R1 plus R2 equals to R1 R3 over R2 plus R1 R2 Ry over R2 times R1 plus R2. Okay. So from here you can see that this R2 will get cancelled, and this is Ry over R1 plus R2. Same factor is present in the other side of the equation as well, so this will get also cancelled. So what you will get? You will get Rx equals to R1 R3 over R2. So if you just see that this is the same equation as we got for a Wheatstone bridge in the previous lecture, that is Rx is the unknown resistance, and it can be measured in terms of these resistances R1, R2 and R3. Okay, so this is the usual, you can say, Wheatstone balance equation. Now what does it indicate? That is important. So it actually indicates that the effect of the resistance of the connecting leads. Okay, so if you just see in the circuit that we have initially assumed that there is a lead resistance which is represented here as Ry. So in the final equation you can see that there is no component of that lead resistance present here. Okay, so that actually effect of resistance of the connecting leads has been eliminated by connecting the galvanometer to an intermediate position B. Okay, so this actually forms the basis of the construction of the Kelvin's double bridge. This was not the actual circuit arrangement. Okay, this was just drawn to have some basic understanding, or just to build on the topic which we are about to start. Okay, so this will just serve as a basis for studying the construction of the Kelvin's double bridge. Okay, so okay, we will now start the Kelvin's double bridge. Let us first draw that circuit. So this is there will be a resistance here also. Let me just draw this. Okay, this is also resistance. Okay, or let me just draw it again. Okay, so this will be a resistance, and in this part and in this part there will be also a resistance. Okay, now it is fine, I think. Okay, now let us just write different or we should first connect a battery to it. So this is a battery. Okay, and these are different points R1, R2, R3. These are different resistances. Rx, this is resistance A, this is resistance B. Okay, this is galvanometer, and this point is point C. Let us call it as point C. This point is point M, this point is point N. Okay, this point is point L, and this point is point O. Okay, so this is the circuit for Kelvin's double bridge. Okay, now why it is called a double bridge is solely due to the reason that it includes a second set of ratio arms, as you can see here, this A and B. So one ratio arm is already present here, R1 and R2. The second set of ratio arm is also present here, this A and B. So that is why it is called a double bridge. Okay, as compared to a normal Wheatstone bridge arrangement. Okay, so there are two sets of ratio arms in this Kelvin's double bridge arrangement. Okay, now the second set of arms, which is A and B, they actually connect the galvanometer to a point C, that is shown here, between the M and N connections. Okay, and the ratio of the resistances of these arms A and B is the same as the ratio of R1 and R2. Okay, so obviously this galvanometer indication will be 0 when the potentials at the point K and C will be equal. Okay, so this is the point K. Okay, this is the point K. Let me just eliminate this from here. Okay, so if the potentials at this point K and point C are equal, then this galvanometer deflection will be 0. Okay, so we'll just derive the the expression. Okay, so we'll see. So when the potential at point K and C will be equal, so that means that the voltage between these 2 points, that is ELK, this is L and this is K. So this will be equal to E times LMC, that is LMC, this voltage. Okay, so if the voltage of this path is equal to this path, that this will mean that the potential at points K and C will be equal. That will mean that the potential difference will be 0, and in that situation the galvanometer deflection will be 0 and the bridge will be balanced. Okay, so ELK should be equal to ELMC, but this voltage ELMC, or rather this LK will be equal to R2 over R1 plus R2 times E, that can be obtained by voltage divider equation, and E is equal to I times R3 plus Rx plus A plus B times Ry over A plus B plus Ry. So this I, that is this, can be thought of as the overall current which this battery will supply. Okay, so you can easily just obtain this expression of the voltage in terms of the current and the different resistances just by applying the KVL. Okay, now substituting this equation, let us call this as equation 2. Okay, so you call this equation as equation 2. So you substitute this value of E in this equation 2. So what you will get? You will get E LK equals to R2 over R1 plus R2 times I. So whatever you have obtained for this E, you can just put it here in this equation, equation number 2. So I am writing it down here. Okay, let us call it as equation 3. Okay, similarly this voltage, which is ELMC, you can also obtain this will be I times R3 plus B over A plus B times A plus B times RY plus A plus B RY. Okay, so again this you can obtain by simple applying KVL equations or simple voltage and current relating equations. Okay, but you can see that in case of balance, this ELK is equal to ELMC. That's what we have written in the very first step. Okay, that for balance these two voltages have to be equal. Okay, so if you just equate these two, what you will get? Let's see, IR2 over R1 plus R2 R3 plus Rx plus A plus B times Ry over A plus B plus Ry. So you just have to equate these two equations, that is ELK equals to ELMC. So this will be E times I times R3 plus B over A plus B in bracket A plus B times Ry plus A plus B Ry. Okay, so now you have to simplify these equations. Okay, so you can get from here R3 plus Rx plus A plus B times Ry upon A plus B plus Ry equals to R1 plus R2 over R2 R3 plus B times Ry over A plus B plus Ry. So that will be R3 plus Rx plus A plus B times Ry over A plus B plus Ry equals to R1 over R2 plus 1 and then R3 plus B times Ry over A plus B plus Ry. Okay, so now you have to simplify this to get the value of this Rx. Okay, so let me just write down. So after maybe just by simplifying 2 or 3 steps more, you should get something like this expression, that is Rx equals to R1 R3 over R2 plus B times R1 Ry. So this is R1 Ry over R2 times A plus B plus Ry minus A times Ry over A plus B plus Ry. So this will be R1 R3 over R2 plus B times Ry over A plus B plus Ry, R1 R2 minus A upon B. Okay, now after reaching this step, you know that this ratio, that is R1 over R2, is equal to A upon B. Okay, so this has to be equal. Okay, so if this ratio is equal, then this above equation will get you Rx equals to R1 R3 over R2. Okay, this means that if R1 over R2 is equal to A minus B, then this factor will be cancelled, rather this whole part will be cancelled, only this part will remain. So now this is the usual equation for a Kelvin bridge. Again it will indicate it is indicating that the resistance of the connecting lead Ry has no effect on the measurement, as you can see here, that is no component related to the contact resistance is present in the final expression of the unknown resistance. So this means that the resistance of the connecting lead has no effect on the measurement, but there is one condition. What is that condition? That the ratios of the resistance of the two set of ratio arms are equal, that is this condition. Okay, so this has to be followed if you have to eliminate the contact resistance. That is again you can just see in this circuit, that is this R1 over R2. Okay, this is R1, this is R2, this is resistance A, that is this branch, and this is resistance B. So this is shown here, resistance B, this is resistance A. So if R1 over R2 is equal to A over B, okay, that is the two sets of ratio arms are equal, then in that case the unknown resistance will not have any component related to the contact resistance. Okay, so generally this Kelvin's double bridge is used to measure the resistances of the order of 1 ohm or maybe lower than that, up to 10 micro ohm it can measure, and it can have the accuracy of about plus minus 0.2%. Okay, so this was all we have to discuss in this lecture. This was Kelvin's double bridge for the measurement of low resistance. Only low resistance it can measure. Okay, in the next lecture we'll see some other bridge circuit for measuring the some other parameter. Okay, thank you very much.